What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by the running man himself, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome. Tell everybody that you know. Thank you for asking. How are you, sir?
I'm gonna see if I can take that just little soundbite and add some like a reverb echo effect to it, because the pose with your microphone picked you up, you were loud, but you didn't get cut out. So I feel like that's a perfect. I'm gonna see. If you see that clip and there's echo on it, then you know I was able to succeed. If they're not, then I couldn't do it. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
I couldn't repeat it even if I tried. So if you do it, that is awesome. Thank you for that.
But no, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It is.
I'm gonna give somebody a stroke with these lights.
You
I
might
can tell you that.
You might. I'm gonna have to do a strobe light
It's
warning.
always a party over here.
Put a strobe light warning on a video or something.
Inside of this is a red light special that's just waiting to be discovered. If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. Hey.
Rest in peace, Left Eye.
Exactly.
Well, we are back again for another fun-filled episode. We're doing another movie review. If you saw the image, you saw the title, you know what it is. We're going to be talking about
Shibuki!
No? Not Shibuki.
Shibuki?
We're going to be talking about Shazam, Fury of the Gods. We're going full spoilers, letting you know that from the jump. So
right now, so don't act like they spoiled it. You shouldn't have clicked it.
Telling you.
Yeah, no, now you know. That's your warning.
But if you don't know what this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV show, even trailers. We watch them, we review them, we break them down, we react to them, and we answer the question, is it super?
Is it?
Is it?
Potentially? Possibly?
Maybe. But if you like that, click on the bell and subscribe to the channel, then click on the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on any of your major streaming platforms for the podcast. And if you want to join in on the conversation, just tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And keep doing what y'all doing, because I saw it. I sees them. Leave a comment. We read them.
Keep leaving those comments. We love the comments.
Yeah, I see them. Sometimes I'm about to start reading some of y'all. I can't really read an emoji, so I want to put some words in.
Add some text to it.
Or hey, smiley face emoji. If y'all okay with that, I'll do that.
I have to say that.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Shizuki!
But we're going to be talking about Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Just came out.
My
bad. So anyway, initial thoughts. What did you think about Shazam, Fury of the Gods?
Oh, it was a movie.
It definitely was a movie.
It was a movie. Listen, and we're going to get into this, Spider. You know we don't hold back on this show.
No, absolutely
so we're
not.
Get into it. Let's go ahead and get into it. It ain't no secret that James Gunn, the man of the men, have transferred from the MCU to the DCU, which is now called, to kind of usher in a new era of superheroes. So much so that they're saying that they're doing a soft reboot after they released the new Flashpoint inspired movie. Resetting all continuity, starting over. There's a whole list of slated movies to come out and TV shows to come out that's gonna be on HBO Max.
Is he calling it phases, or what is he calling his, like?
He's calling it chapters.
Chapters. Okay.
They're chapters now, not phases, but chapters. And we're starting out with good chapter one. This is so much like comics, because in the multiverse on the MCU side, they always have these iterations of timelines and dimensions and all these things with all these random numbers. The main scope of the timeline that is in the MCU right now is supposed to be 616. For the longest, it wasn't 616. It was told that it was 199 gazillion nines later.
Right.
But now they're saying this is 616. On the DC side, they start out with Earth 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Then there was Earth 2. They kept it real simple, real basic, and I can appreciate that, because if I'm going in 616, was there 615 that I missed? So I kind of I don't know. So it's kind of hard for anybody to pick up and jump on that bandwagon.
Then we jump from 616 to 838.
Yeah. Where we at? Where we going? Can I just not? Where's 1? So MCU is doing the same thing that DC is doing. Again, this is in the comics. Soft reboots and resets, because the reasoning why, because the same thing we talked about, Spider, at some point in time, it becomes incredibly hard to go back and rewatch and digest all of this information that leads you up to the current events. So now James Gunn is over there on the DC side doing exactly that. Why am I bringing this up? Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington, what the hell are you talking about? We're talking about Shazam. I'm saying this because Shazam was written, filmed, structured all before that information about James Gunn was coming over.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie was practically done. I think they may have changed 1 or 3 things. Not that much has changed since its inception. With that being said, how much does it impact the future of the of the DCU?
Right. Because this is still considered DCEU.
Yes, this is the last little bit of DCEU.
Well, the Flash is going to be the last.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And the reason that I'm saying this, because watching this movie, it feels like if it did nothing else, which has been totally lacking in the DCEU, is continuity.
Right.
I will say that this movie is not lacking continuity. It picks up not right after Shazam, but it's in that same vein as Shazam. Question is it safe? Did they play it safe? That's why I'm feeling like, Spider, what you think? Wait a second. Something's missing. I feel like something, you know what? There it is. There we go. There we go. Go ahead, Spider.
I didn't know we were going to have a entrance with a cup, but there it is. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. What can I say about this movie? So there was, I could say a lot. Well, as far as my initial thoughts go, there were, trying to find the words, which is hard because that's one word.
That's one word for it.
It's just that the movie, I feel like maybe it was because they were trying to play it safe. Maybe it was because they were trying to not go too far into something, because I don't know, because like we said, this was filmed, this was written, it was all of this was done before the news of James Gunn coming out and like being the head of DC Studios and everything. But maybe they didn't see a future for Shazam, so because I feel like the end of it, because like we said, full spoilers.
He died.
Shazam died. And it really seemed like if you would have left it there, all of the kids got their powers taken away, Shazam died. And if they would have been like, okay, well, this is the end of Shazam, and we could have left it at the little funeral scene, and then like a little zoom out, the realm of the gods has been restored, but Shazam's dead. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. He gave his life so that way he could help restore the realm of the gods and not destroy Philadelphia. kind of pan out or zoom
I would
out.
have been all right
Yeah,
with that.
zoom out. The kids are not superheroes anymore. They'll continue to live on, and then fade to black. Movie's over. I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with that. Completely, totally fine. And that would have just been the end of Shazam. But then we get Wonder Woman come in. She get her electric cello in there.
I appreciate that theme song.
It's probably
I did not appreciate Wonder Woman.
Probably one of the best.
At all.
The thing about it is, and I've seen a lot of people complain about this, is that this would have been something to get excited about, right? Because we know that we talked about this at length in the last episode when we were talking about Shazam and how they had the Superman cameo, but they couldn't get Henry Cavill because of contract disagreements. So we get the beginning part where Billy is dreaming, and he's dreaming about having lunch or having dinner with Wonder Woman in Paris, and we only see her feet, and we only see her like from it was like the midsection down, from the torso down.
Yeah, we only see that her face.
Right, and we see her from the back of the head and all this other kind of stuff when she's walking away, and then when she turns,
wig, by the way.
Yeah, when she turns around, of course, it's Diamond Hansu's face because the wizard is projecting himself into Billy's dreams. Really disturbing to have this woman's body in Diamond Hansu's face, but
can't unsee it now.
No, but the thing about it is that in the last few trailers or the last few TV spots for Shazam, Fury of the Gods, before the movie came out, they showed the clip of Wonder Woman where it was like, "Oh, stick to saving the world, kid." It was like, okay, well, now we know Gal Gadot is going to be in the movie, but it's like, why wouldn't you hold on to that and let that be a surprise? Be like, oh shit, Wonder Woman's in the movie. Just let that be a surprise. It's like there was really no reason, because it honestly, if seeing that one little part of Wonder Woman just saying stick to saving the world, kid, because obviously Billy was trying to holler at Wonder Woman, which, I mean, to be fair, who wouldn't?
Yeah, facts. Okay, but I'll take that.
Having that in the trailer serves nothing for the movie, because it's like, it's the same thing with when Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out and they had all of this stuff in here in the trailer about Tony Stark being in the movie or Robert Downey Jr. being in the movie. And it's like, save that to be a surprise for when the movie comes out. Let everybody go into it thinking that this is going to be a Spider-Man movie, not a Spider-Man movie, because they really framed it in the trailers like it was going to be a Spider-Man team-up movie. Because you remember they had the scene where they were like Spider-Man was swinging through the city and Iron Man was flying next to him. It was like, oh, it's going to be like a team-up movie. And that scene never came to fruition in the movie. It was like,
not at all.
There's a difference between misleading the audience and then straight up lying to
just
them.
Blatantly lying.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was just a straight up lie. Like, this here was like misleading because it made it seem like, Shazam and Wonder Woman are going to be working together. And then at the resolution of it, she's leaving and she's like, just stick to saving the world. I just felt like that shouldn't have been included in the trailer. That was because it served nothing to drive forth the narrative of what the story was. But however, sneeze. But everything else in the movie is just it was a seesaw for me the entire movie. It was back and forth the whole way through, and it was like some parts were like good, and then some parts were just like ugh. And
yeah, Wonder Woman should have stayed her ass home.
She should have, because honestly, other than like the dream sequence, I don't really felt like she needed to be in the movie. And it's just like,
at all.
She restores the power of the god. She restores the magic. I mean, she's a demigod. Does she even really use magic? I mean, I guess she can use magic because she can fly.
How did she know she had that ability? Who called her?
Apparently.
Where were you when the city was attacked?
Like, I don't know.
You can't just shoehorn a hero in at the end.
Deus Ex Machina.
And then come in and be like, ta-da, I'm here. The day is saved.
And
look
then
what I can do.
It really invalidates this noble sacrifice that Billy gave his life in order to save his family, in order to save his city. And now, he made this grand gesture because he understands the power that he has, and he understands how to use it now, because this whole movie is him trying to hold on to his family because he feels like he can't do it alone. So now he gets the
Right.
confidence, he understands what he needs to do to be able to get it done alone. And then you immediately undo all of that
Undercut it.
because he comes back to life, he gets the staff, and then he tells his family, who wants the powers back? And it's like, you just learned that you can do this on your own. They don't have to be superheroes.
Exactly. Even mom and dad wants powers now.
Right.
You know, Shazam.
And it's just the having that final scene, having Billy fight for everything that he believed, that he has the belief in himself because he didn't believe in himself before. The opening scene we get is Billy is just, he's on a couch at his pediatrician and basically saying that there's all these other cool superheroes and he just feels like he can't amount to it, and he doesn't know what to do because he feels that he doesn't deserve these powers, right? And everything that he does throughout the movie is he broke the staff, and so he's the one that ended up breaking down the barrier that allowed the Daughters of Atlas to come back to this realm. He brought
Whoopsie, sorry.
he brought what was Helen Mirren's name? Hespera. He brought Hespera to the Rock of Eternity because he was trying to use her as a negotiation tool in order to get Freddy back. She broke out of the cell, ended up getting the seed, the apple. It's like everything he was doing.
In Billy's defense, though, I did kind of think those bars were magical bars. And she was like, this idiot. I'm just going to burn this little cage.
But the thing about it is, like, they even said it in the movie. It's like he talked about all of the different gods that he has the power of. And there's like the wisdom of Solomon. That's the one thing that you don't have. Every time you come up with a plan, you ask Mary what her opinion is. You know, you lean on everybody else to help you formulate these things. Like, not that they were making fun of him, but they were like, you don't, you're not forward thinking.
You're not him. Yeah.
And one big complaint I have about it, because they say in the movie that Billy's turning 18. So and remind me, when in Shazam, the first Shazam, wasn't he 14?
Yeah, well, a lot of time has passed.
But they said it was only 2 years. So I guess he was 14 about to turn 15. Now he's 17 about to turn 18.
Hey, shut up. Hey, shut up. Don't worry
I'm just trying to make sure the math is mathing right.
So it's clear you know how to count, and the people in this movie don't. So that's not how numbers work in this universe. So,
I'm just trying to understand
the next day you're about to age out.
Right. So
it's all in the same week.
So I was like, okay, because I was like, okay, I'm thinking like the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, it's been like almost 4 years. And then we get to the post-credit scene with Savannah, and he was like, you've been gone for 2 years. I was like, 2 years?
2 years.
I was like,
right?
Has it been? Wait,
he was just 14.
He was 14, and then 2 years later, now he's almost 18.
This is where you show all those calculus and with the X-Files theme,
right? But even still, regardless of how much time has passed, he is about to turn 18, and I just feel like he's just as immature as he was when he was 14.
More immature.
It really does feel like he was more immature. And the thing about it is, nobody else is. Everybody else is mature, and he has kind of aged up. Because even with Eugene was like just so into video games. It's like that was his main focus. He just wanted to be focused on video games. Now Eugene is in the Rock of Eternity. He's cataloging all the doors.
Cataloging the doors.
And Pedro, and I still feel like they're doing Pedro dirty, because it's like, it's almost a trope now to where they only give, even when Pedro is just regular human Pedro, he's only getting like maybe 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. And then they drop in, like I said, they drop in a little bit of little tidbits about him, and then he just gets pushed to the back, and then nobody's ever worried about Pedro again. And it's like,
that's it.
I feel like Pedro is probably one of the most interesting characters out of all of them, but he doesn't really get any time to like breathe. He doesn't need any time to develop. And we get the thing from Mary. Mary is kind of not necessarily resentful, but she's like, Billy, Mary is probably what, 20 at this point, 21.
Ish, yeah.
Well, she's got to be 21 because she had a hangover.
Change.
Yeah, and she doesn't change.
Yeah, I hope so.
So she's at least 21, 22.
I don't know what's going on in Philly, you know?
Right.
Hey, she might go to those secret bars.
Maybe,
you know?
I don't know. But she's...
hey, hopefully she's 21 at least.
Yeah. But so she's like, I stayed around because, we got superpowers, so I'm staying, helping the family be a superhero and everything. But, we see that they say that...
Why didn't she go to college? Because she drops that knowledge that I didn't finish college.
Well,
so
she didn't go. She didn't leave because if she would have went, she would have left Philadelphia. And so she stuck around.
There are colleges in Philly.
There are colleges in Philly, but I guess she didn't want to go to any of those.
Accepting that, Mary. You know what I'm saying? You could make it across campus in time.
Yeah.
Shazam, bam, Shazam. Ooh, you're in class early. I'm just saying. There are ways to do things.
And I mean, the thing about it is, like, if she could Shazam into superhero Mary and then just put something on over her like superhero outfit because her face is still the
don't change. Yeah, she's the same person. So it's like,
And how is it? Because this has been 2 years at this point, whatever, that they've been doing this, that Victor and Rosa, the parents, they just start putting it together because they all leave to go like save the bridge and everything. And Victor is looking at, because superhero Freddy is on TV, Captain Every Power. Captain Every Power. Yeah. And so he's on TV, he's doing like the interview and everything, and they see like all of them. And so Victor is like, you ever notice how like all of them are... Let me go check on the kids real quick. And then while they're still on TV and they come back in. And so it's like, if you've seen Superhero Mary and you see regular Mary, like nobody made that connection.
There's no curl. There's no Superman curl in the front. There's no
She's not wearing glasses as regular Mary or anything like that. It's like all the rest of them, are fine. Like, Darla is 3 feet taller and all this other kind of stuff. They aged up. They look like completely different people, but Mary is just Mary. And it's just like, how? How do you not make that connection?
Hey, no time for that. Turn your brain off. So what we're saying over here is the simple fact that we got, what do they call them?
The Philly Fiascos.
How do they get this name? Like, how much property damage are they doing? And are they not giving back? Are they not trying to fix things? Because that's a part of being a superhero as well. Let's say I got punched. Mm-hmm. I got thrown into a building, right? When that fight is over, I'm helping try to repair the stuff that I damaged. That's a good superhero.
Right.
If I just like, that building fell and I'm going home, of course everybody's going to hate you.
Well,
you're like,
I mean, think about it.
The world is just your playground.
They went to try to stop the bridge from falling, and they get there, they save all the people, and Billy Shazam, he says, all right, team, everybody round up. All right, our main priority is stop this bridge from collapsing. Smash cut. Bridge is in the water. Everything failed. And so we see, basically Freddy's doing his interview, the kids came home. They didn't stick around and try to help. They just left.
At that point, what you could do, though, right?
I guess.
That bridge already in the water.
I mean, they can at least retrieve the cars out of the water or something.
All through trying to save people on that bridge, they all failed at trying to sustain that bridge, which I appreciated, because sometimes you just don't get it right? So, but afterwards,
but they saved the people.
You're right. They could have.
And Darla's still a kitten.
Yeah, that wasn't right.
But she did bring it back. She did bring it back. She said, I do need to bring the kitten back.
To terms. Yeah, man.
Darla's still the best. Darla is still the best.
What is going on in this movie?
Darla went and tried to bring Hespera some Skittles. She was like, you know what? She was like, even though I think you're a bad person, you don't deserve to starve. You don't deserve, like, what'd she say? You don't deserve the pink Skittles. I'm just bring you a bowl full of yellow ones.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, look, she got standards. She got standards. She's like, look, I know you bad person, so you're not getting the pink Skittles, but I'm bringing you some anyway. Charlotte is she's the best.
First of all, just Skittles sponsor this movie
I don't
because
know.
Taste the Rainbow motherfucker was definitely trending when you ride a unicorn. I don't know what the budget was for this movie, but clearly it was in a goddamn, there was a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Here's my thing, and I think we talked about this on the last Shazam breakdown. Last Shazam breakdown, we were dealing with the 7 sins.
Right.
Right? Gluttony, wrath, lust, all that.
And they just disrespected the hell out of those statues in the Rock of Eternity.
Oh, yeah. I would have did the same thing. I would have painted a mustache on them. You ain't gonna do that. What you gonna do? You stuck in there for eternity. So now we're dealing with mythical orgs.
We had Cyclops, we had Minotaurs, we had Chimeras, we had Harpies.
Harpies?
Yeah, there were Harpies.
My bad. The cousin of Banshees.
There you go. But yeah, all of these mythological creatures, right?
I know one's magical and then the other one's kind of gothic, spirituals, satanic.
What do you mean?
Religious?
What do you mean?
It's not all magic. Well, when you're dealing with the 7 sins, that's kind of.
Oh, you're talking about between the first movie and the second movie. Okay, yes. Yeah, I got what you're saying.
So I need you to pick a lane. As an audience member, I need to know the fight that we're fighting. What are we fighting? Because that's not magic. There's dark arts, maybe. It's not. I don't see it as magical. Now, this is more the magic realm,
right?
So I appreciate.
This is more like
watch the hands.
Godlike,
look at the hands.
Mythical creatures going all into that Greek mythology stuff.
Yeah, so I can understand why you have a Minotaur or what's the half man, half horse guy?
Centaurs.
Yeah, I can understand why. Well, I don't think they had that.
No,
but
they didn't
I can
have
understand that if they had that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we're talking about gods and Zeus and Ares and Hades, and I just need you to pick a lane, watch the hands, pick a struggle, watch the hands. You see the hands? Okay, that's for all my people watching on the video. If you're on a podcast, you can't see the hands, but just know they were doing something epic, and if you want to see them hands, go to YouTube.
It's not like a threat.
It came out right. It came out right. Shazam, Fury of the God. But this movie is all over the place, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm basically saying. And I went into this with no expectations. Very happy to see Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Am I disappointed? I'm confused because with everything that happened in the movie, where are we now with it? Like, what have we established? What have we accomplished? And it's consistent with the other Shazam, but I feel like we're in the same spot.
Yeah. And especially
so maybe we should be in the same spot because James Gunn's taking over.
So speaking of being in the same spot, was I wrong in assuming that in the first Shazam, the bullies, who I just found out they were brothers, I just thought that the two of them were friends, but
I thought so too.
But the bullies, what were their names? Brett and Burke. Anyway, was I wrong in assuming
their child Burke?
I don't know. But was I wrong in assuming that in the first movie I thought they were seniors? Because I thought that like Freddie and Billy, I thought they were like freshman, sophomore, and they're getting picked on by older kids. So I thought they were seniors.
Maybe they didn't graduate.
2 years later?
2 years.
And it's even worse when I originally thought that this was 4 years later.
Well, the blip happened. Oh, sorry, wrong universe.
No, there was no blip.
Try to make it make sense. Hey, ain't no time for that. So anyway,
but I guess they're the same age. But then, are they driving as sophomores?
Not driving anything since the truck's destroyed.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in the first movie, because Billy and Freddie were 14, if they're in the same grade as Billy and Freddie, even if they're 15. I don't know what the laws are in Philadelphia, but I know down in Louisiana, if you are under the age of 17 and you have a permit, you need to be in the vehicle with a licensed driver. They were in the truck by themselves. So I don't know.
On the curve.
Right, and running over people.
Literally hit and run.
So I don't know that with
no repercussions.
When I saw them, privilege. And then they're still just complete assholes, just for no reason.
Yeah,
you was like you would think that now that they know that Freddy is friends with a superhero, they would back off of him a little bit.
Two
superheroes. Superman literally came and had lunch with them. I do apologize for that abrupt cut in the audio and the video. I am having some internet difficulties on my end. But we ain't
gonna say no names. We ain't gonna say no names.
We're not gonna call nobody out.
On blast right now. We ain't gonna say no names.
But there was one thing that we were discussing before we started recording was that the show is consistently inconsistent. And
that's the one thing about it
that just falls into the pattern. This is us, but y'all love us, and we love y'all that y'all love us.
The virtual hugs is what I'm giving you.
There you go.
Can't see it if you're on an audio podcast,
but you can feel it. Feel it in your ears.
You get your audio hug. Yeah, but this is my
your audio hug.
Voice wrapping around your eardrum, giving you the eardrum a hug. Mr. VIP and Spider says, "Feel that." Ooh.
What did Big Boy say? Drip, drip, drop. There goes an orgasm. Now you're leaking out the side of your face. Tap it right into your memory banks. Thanks.
First of all, it sounds like you just got somebody pregnant. Just with that little slogan right there. But before we were cut off or rudely interrupted by technology failing yet again, technology. Boo! Bring back the simple ways. Sticks and rocks.
Cans on the string. We do our podcast with cans on the string. Get a film camera. Gotta roll that bitch. Hold on, I gotta change the reel.
Let's not go that far. Oh, like no.
Yeah, gotta change the reel. Hurry up! I don't want to miss it.
We were talking about Freddy. Freddy in this movie, we were saying in our last Shazam watch that Freddy had a more compelling backstory by him having this disability, by him having a positive outlook, by him having a lot more interesting kind of humble beginning versus Billy Baxton's as being basically plucked out of obscurity and given these powers.
Right.
And we got a chance to see that. We got a chance to see Freddy kind of in his zone. And we realized, Spider, that Freddy is pretty much an asshole with these powers. He's not nice at all. He became very arrogant.
Very cocky, very arrogant.
Very cocky.
First of all, so he was calling himself Captain Every Power, and then he called Shazam Captain Every Power Jr.
Right? Look, when he was saving the people, the
civilians.
Citizens. Well, either one of those words would have worked if I could have said either one of them. He was holding up the cars and he was faking like, oh, it's so heavy, and then turn around and say, no, I'm just kidding. It's not really heavy at all. This is not the time, my guy. They got people scared for their lives, and this is not the time to be making those type of...
I'm just kidding. It's real easy.
I'm just kidding. This is very light, but yet still the bridge falls. Like, come on.
Just showing off, and we see that he's getting, that's his adrenaline rush, because that's his escapism from, like you said, from having to deal with his disability, from having to be picked on.
Right.
So he's walking around the house.
Go back to being Freddy.
Exactly. And I think if not for him having to save face and keep up appearances around the parents, he probably wouldn't. He'd probably live his entire life as Captain Every Power. And we see that he's walking around the house and he's got his earbuds in his ear. We see everybody doing their own thing, but he's got his earbuds in and he's listening to police scanner, just waiting for the next crime or the next big disastrous event that he could go in and save the day. He has a real superhero complex.
Right.
But then we see that he's an asshole, but we get later on in the story, he meets Anthea, who's someone that sees him for him. but somebody that sees him for him and
Right.
notices the hero who he is, not as Captain Everypower, but as Freddy, and it allows him to open himself up a little bit more and allow him to be himself a little bit more because it now has somebody who he can relate to because they have the conversation in the cafeteria where Freddy's talking about Billy and how overbearing he is, and basically Billy is in this thing where if we're gonna go do superhero stuff, it's either all of us or none of us. That's Billy's whole thing. Either all of us or none of us.
Right.
And so Anthea
Right.
is
Family.
relating, right, family. It's all about family. And so and Thea's relating because she's like, my sister's overbearing. She thinks that she knows everything and she's controlling and very bossy. And so they connect on that level. And so Freddie tells Billy, the girl is talking to me, something that's never happened to me in my entire life. And so
Right.
we see this hardened exterior kind of fall from Freddie, but even still, he feels that he has to use Captain Everypower as sort of his wingman in order to
Yeah.
get to know Anthea a little bit better. Well, we find out that Anthea has ulterior motives because she wants to drop the
Wait.
superheroes. Mhm.
Let's do this. Why was she at the school? Because you said she has ulterior motives to drive out the
Mhm.
superheroes, but they didn't know that the superheroes were kids. They did not know Freddy was a superhero. So
Because
why
she
was she at the school
because she
enrolled
knew
already?
she knew for however she knew, but she knew that Freddy had lunch with Shazam because that's why she was asking, "Oh, show me where you guys were sitting, or what happened, how did it happen, where did he come in from?" She wanted the play-by-play to try to backtrack to
Yeah,
see where Shazam came from,
yeah.
like how did he get here, and just try to. I want to pull as much information out of you as I can, so that way I can figure out who this person really is, who the champion is, and how can I get to him.
Let's talk about this for a second. How
Mm-hmm.
old is Athea?
What you say, 6,000 years old?
And she's got a thing for kids? Yeah, yeah. That part. We're just gonna take a moment of silence and just let that sink in.
I mean,
She's 6,000 years old.
even, even at
Six
the,
thousand years old.
even at the
Ooh,
end of the
baby, I
movie.
like them, y'all.
No, no.
Yeah, baby, I like them,
Oh my
y'all.
god! But even at the end of the movie, Rosa made a point to admit because, well, not admit, but kind of make a note of it when Billy as Shazam was trying to holler at Wonder Woman. He was like, "So all of a sudden, both of our oldest boys have a thing for older women."
Right? Right? There's an age difference, and then there's an
Yeah,
age difference. And
17, 6,000.
6,000. She's older than Thor. God damn. You gotta let that sink in for a second. She's older than Thor.
Right.
And there's nobody that you can get along with that's, it don't necessarily have to be in your own dimension, but at least they are of a consensual age. I'm just saying.
I mean, he's about to turn 18.
In another 2
Technically,
years.
well,
or
it's going to be within this year because Mary was telling Billy that he's about to turn 18 and he's going to age out of the system, which they mentioned that. And before that was mentioned, that was
and
never
Freddie said
really.
he was like 1 month.
Yeah, Freddie said he's a month younger than Billy. So we're thinking sometime in this year that that they're in, as far as the movie is concerned, they'll both be 18. But the thing about it is that Mary mentions that, but that was never prefaced before because she was talking about, and just like how we were talking about in the last episode when I was saying that, it doesn't look like Victor and Rosa were really struggling for money because they had this, huge house. And you were saying because, of course, they have all of these kids. They have 6 kids. They're getting a check for them. But at that point,
which they did confirm in this movie that they were getting compensation.
They were getting compensation for them. So we know that Mary aged out of the system because Mary, in the last movie, was about to graduate. She was going to go to college. And so now here we are 2 years later, where both Freddie,
Sure. Yeah, why not?
both Freddie and Billy are going to be aging out of the system, so therefore they won't be getting money for them. So Mary tells Billy, uh, Rosa and Victor, they're struggling. They can't even make rent payments on the house. So she said that, and again, none of this was prefaced before as in any kind of internal struggle where Billy was like, "Oh well, I don't know what I'm gonna do after I'm too old, to be here anymore. If they're gonna put me out or anything like that." We never got any like hint of Billy like kind of dealing with that. We saw him trying to rally up everybody and try to keep everybody together, but he was like, he told the pediatrician, everybody's out doing their own thing, and we see that, like, and it wasn't really like everybody was doing their own thing, like they didn't want to be bothering each other because they were still all in the house. Pedro was watching baseball. And we see again a little hint where he's watching baseball, but he's looking in the magazine of shirtless men. Like I said, Pedro's gay, which they also confirmed in this movie.
He confirmed. He came out, and everybody was like, "Yeah, we know."
They're like, "We know, bud." Which,
not a big shocker.
It's nice for them to handle it like that, to not make a big deal out of it. And it was funny because they all ran back into the house where the parents were sleeping because a dragon is about to come crashing through the house. And so they're like, "All right, no more secrets." So everybody tell them, and it was like, "We're superheroes." And Pedro's like, "I'm gay." It's like, okay, that's your secret, but
okay,
all right. But
secret.
The thing about it is, so Mary,
live your truth, Pedro.
Exactly.
Live your truth.
And so Pedro's watching baseball. Eugene's still playing video games. He's trying to teach Billy about like unit cohesion and communication and working as a part of a team. Mary's going off to work. Darla's doing some type of project. It was like she was building some kind of diorama with unicorns and going up against, what was it, like soldiers or something like that? I don't know. She was building like some kind of landscape or whatever.
It was weird.
But so like everyone was doing their own thing, but it's not like they were off doing their own thing. They're still all together in the house. And so, and of course, Freddie's listening to the police scanner. But to say that was like his main reasoning for trying to keep everybody together because he felt like he couldn't do things on his own, we didn't get any of that. And then to just throw it out there, oh, well, Rosa and Victor are struggling to make rent payments, where the only thing we saw about Victor, he was talking to the electrician. He was like, "Dude, I'm telling you, the houses keep getting struck by lightning. I don't know why, this is going on." And then
they're struggling because he has to put a roof on the house every 3 days.
But the thing about it is that, so they come out, they tell the parents that they're superheroes. Dragon comes through. Dragon destroys the whole house. And they get to the parking garage or whatever, so they could kind of discuss what they want to do. And Victor and Rosa was like, "Oh, they just destroyed the house that we just bought." It was like, "Y'all bought the house?" It's like, "Yeah, we just bought the house." It's like, were they not struggling to pay rent?
Apparently not. I think they know Jake from State Farm.
Something, because they had just bought the house, and now they were able to rebuild the house after the house got destroyed. So apparently,
not even a week later.
Not even a week later. So apparently, they weren't struggling with money that much. But the only thing that we got as far as like any connection to Billy and the parents, as far as Billy is saying that, or at least thinking that he was going to get kicked out or whatever after he aged out of the system, was when they were leaving and everybody was saying, "Bye, Mom, bye, Mom, bye, Mom." And Billy said, "Bye, Rosa." And we could see that kind of hurt her a little bit. And she's like, "You've been here for 2 years at this point." 2 years, 4 years. But, he's still not comfortable calling her mom because, of course, the last person who he called mom was like, "I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, don't hug me." Don't hug me.
Just totally abandoned him. Like, don't come knocking on his door no more.
Right.
I got a little something going on in here. take back your compass.
What is this? Like, I don't know what that is.
Ew.
But I will
got
say
directions all on this.
I will say that when they were on the roof of the parking garage and they had a conversation between Billy and Rosa, and Billy was like, I promise, I won't be a burden after this is all done. I'll get my stuff, I'll move out, because I'm about to age out of the system. And Rosa's like, what are you talking about? You're like, you are my son. I will always love you, and you will always be welcome in our home. And like that emotional exchange between the two of them was probably like one of the best parts of the movie, if not the best part of the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I almost started if I had, yeah, it was like, hold it together. It was nice though.
Yeah.
It cut. And then when he said, Mom.
Right.
Oh. That's me falling out for my audio listeners. That's me falling out.
But
it was nice.
Yeah, but to get back to the Freddy of it all, and so we're dealing with Anne, and Freddy is the first one to lose his powers. He gets taken. They bring him back to the realm of the gods.
Before you even get into that, if we're talking about the beginning of this movie, the rest of the team is pretty annoyed that they have to go and be heroes.
Right.
Because when Billy puts the call out, it's a sunny day in Philadelphia or whatever he says.
Like, is it though?
Yeah, they're more reluctant to go out. And Freddy's the only one that was like, hey, we could go out and do this. Just us.
Right.
We don't really need the super friends. We can just go just us. Again, showing that more non-Freddy tendencies, or more he's not the same Freddy. He kind of got these powers and kind of let him into his head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's captain every power, so
yeah.
I guess he could do everything what everybody else could do. But clearly, I do like the fact that this happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though they have every power, they do.
Yeah.
They have. Let's just say they have the powers of Superman. They can be everywhere. They fly, they're fast, they're strong.
Right.
The situation is bigger than one guy.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole bridge collapsing, and if I'm here, I can't be there. Even though I'm fast, I can't be in two spots at once.
Mm-hmm.
Though I'm super fast and I can be super strong, I'm holding up the bridge, but this part of the bridge is falling too.
Right.
So it was clearly a situation that I think they really did put some thought into and showed the ensemble of the team being able to take that. Like if it was just one Shazam or one hero,
right?
I don't think they would have been successful.
No, not at all.
Even though they weren't successful.
They would not have been as successful as they were.
Well, some people would have died.
Yeah,
it's clear.
Yes, for sure. But yeah. So yeah, so Freddy wasn't that so
that part.
But so, and like you said, Freddy had sort of a complete character arc because Freddy's the first to lose his powers, and so he goes, sees the wizard, and he realizes who the wizard is. He's like, "Oh, you're the wizard that Billy's been talking about." Then tries to get. First of all, we still don't get a real explanation as to why the wizard is back alive.
Oh yeah, he said that. He said once he transferred his powers to Billy, he could no longer stay in that realm because where they were was not the Earth realm.
Oh, okay.
It was
so
some other realm.
So, but isn't the Rock of Eternity not necessarily the same realm? Because they have to go through a magic portal in order to get to the Rock of Eternity. So it's still not Earth.
There's no time for that. But to my start into this, who Tooth was in the dungeon?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Yeah.
But the interaction between the wizard and Freddy was hilarious. He called him Freeman. He didn't call him Freeman because Freeman is his last name. He called him Felix. He called him Jeff. He was like, she just said my whole name. Why'd you call me Jeff? But but so going through all of that and getting like Freddy trying to They were going into like the main room, and it was like, we need to go get the seed, get the apple. He was like, well, I need to go. He was like, yeah, you might be looking at me thinking like, somebody who's disabled, who needs a crush to get around, can't be sneaky. But it's like, it'd be better than you because your knees crack every time you walk. And then he leaned a little bit and he heard the crack. He was like, you know what? Good point. You go ahead. And then just to watch him crawling and rolling around the whole entire place, it was like just absolutely ridiculous. But
though I'd never heard his knees crack before that,
because they never did crack before that. But
here's the thing: he couldn't be on that dimension, that plane, right? Because he transferred his powers to Billy. But later on, we clearly seen him in the dimension
because that was his physical body, I guess.
Hey, no time for that. What'd you think about Lucy Liu and the sisters and turning everyone into sandstone in the beginning?
It was definitely a great show of power when they went into the museum. And Lucy...
There's no way they didn't catch an orgasm when they touched that staff. I'm just gonna put it out.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. But
I was in the room. I was like, "Yeah, touch that staff."
So we saw that we got the explanation from Steve. Steve pointed out the books where they could go find the information about the Daughters of Atlas. So Hespera, played by Helen Mirren, had the power of the elements. What was Lucy Liu's character's name? Calypso.
She had the no, she did not have chaos because I thought she had chaos.
No, hers was chaos. Yeah, she had the powers of chaos.
When I'm forgetting her name, the other sister Anthea? Was able to Doctor Strange everybody.
Yeah.
The whole I thought that was the chaos.
No, that's the powers of axis. So she can rotate things on an axis.
Makes sense.
She has the power of inception. She has inception powers.
Yeah, right? To make a building turn sideways.
And so, quick question. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm at work.
Okay.
I'm in my office building, just typing away, filling out my spreadsheets and everything.
As you should.
I see Shazam just so happen to fly by. Then all of a sudden, my whole entire building just gonna rotate around. Did anybody experience that, or is that just like a perception thing? Like, do they know like this whole entire city is being rotated? So am I like in my office and I just do this because the whole building is being shifted? Like, what does that have? What does that do to the infrastructure? Because we're connected to the plumbing system and all of that kind of stuff. I just want to know like how much is affected when she's rotating the whole damn world.
Hey, no time for that. What you think about the new suits?
I did like the new suits. The new suits because for Zachary Levi in the first Shazam, they put him in this padded suit to make him look like he's like bigger and everything. But I did like that they took it down a little bit. When they left alone the CG lightning bolt in the middle of his chest, and so they made it a little bit more practical. I did like the new suits. I thought the new suits were better.
I thought the new suits were awesome, though I did miss the CGI lightning bolt. I see they replaced it with a metal lightning bolt, which made sense because you spend money on minotaurs and all these other, creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So that budget had to go somewhere. So you get a regular lightning bolt, you get a regular lightning bolt.
Right.
That somebody got to pay for that dragon.
Yeah, but
same Game of Thrones.
But even still, we talked about in the last episode with how everything is just so rushed because we say that.
Do you think that was the issue here?
Well, I'm saying as far as the sense of what are we supposed to do? Because if we would have gotten information about, because the wizard told Freddy like as long as they don't get the seed, then they're powerless. Then because that's what they want to do. They want to get the seed. And then the thing about it is, with the Daughters of Atlas, their motivation,
it's the same as Transformers.
Oh, the spark of eternity, or the spark of whatever the spark was.
Did they want to bring Cybertron to Earth?
Yeah, but the thing about it is that they didn't want to bring the realm of the gods to Earth. That was Lucy Liu being bitter, being like, "Oh, humans destroyed our world, so I'm going to destroy the humans' world." Hespera and Anthea, they were like, "We just want to get the seed. We want to get back the power that was stolen from us, restore our home, and then so that way we can live in peace." They never really wanted to destroy anything. They just kind of went forcefully taking back what they felt was stolen for them. So as far as Anthea and Hespera go, right. And so it really could have all been resolved if they would have just like gave the powers back, which I know they wouldn't want to. And once they got the apple.
Oh, Spider. So you're saying the heroes were really the villains?
I'm not saying that they're the villains, but they are kind of the cause for all the destruction that happened in Philadelphia.
This is why they got the name
the Philly Fiascos. And what did that one dude call him? Commander Cheesesteak or something? Because he was like,
"You gonna take this dome
down? What are you gonna do with this dome?" He was like, "I got a plan." You don't look like you got a plan. You look like you got lunch.
You got a sandwich. That's crazy.
But
that's horrible though, because at the same time, Billy didn't kind of feel like he deserved the powers.
Right.
But when it was time to give them up, he ain't about to give them up. He liked saying Shazam and being able to fly.
Right.
And you know, Freddy wasn't about to give up.
Oh, absolutely
powers,
not.
Which ironically, he was the first one to lose it.
Right. But then the thing about it is that Freddy seemed to be the most worthy of the powers, because we saw when he got caught.
Whoa, why you say that?
Because we saw when he got caught. We saw in the beginning of the movie, Lucy Liu, Calypso, powers of chaos magic or whatever. She whispered into the people's ear and they just click out, freak out, start attacking everybody. Everybody's fighting in the museum.
Right.
And everybody's spreading it to everybody else. She does it to
like a secret.
She does it to Freddy to get him to reveal the name of Billy. And Freddy, under his own willpower, was able to resist her magic. And she repeatedly whispered in his ears, like, "Tell me the name. Tell us the names. Tell us the names." And he like, it was getting close, but he was like fighting it with his own willpower. And then at the end, when he sees Anthea, and this is after Anthea has already gotten her powers taken away, he sees her in a garage after everybody else has run away, because Calypso is about to kill her with the dragon. And the dragon's power is that the dragon paralyzes you with fear. Like, makes you completely afraid, paralyzes you, and basically then he could come in for the kill. Freddy, paralyzed with fear, but he sees that Anthea is about to get killed. So he goes, resists all of it to protect her. He's able to fight through. Even Calypso is like, "That's impossible." And he's like, "Turn it up, crank it up to 11. Dragon is like in his face. Ah! And Freddy picks up his crutch and just like, literally, "I will fight you. I will die, but I will fight you to protect this 6,000-year-old woman that I fell in love with." But Freddy, just as Billy was having that internal debate within himself that he didn't deserve the powers, Freddy was confident in his like abilities. That's why he felt as Captain Every Power he could do all of this stuff, because he was confident within himself that he could. But we get to see that he has the willpower, he has that internal strength to where he can fight off all of these other magical forces. So like we were saying in the last episode, Freddy would have been the best Shazam because Freddy is that hero. And so
yeah, but at the same time, we see him with Shazam powers, and we see that he is not that
and I think
gracious.
Yeah. And I also think that also kind of stems into what happened with Billy and why he's so immature with his powers, because you didn't have someone with the experience to kind of show them the way that they should go. Like, no one showed them how to use the powers. And even when, like I was saying, everything was rushed, because like we said in the last episode, the wizard gave Billy the powers and he was like, "I'm going. Don't even tell me how to get home.
I'm out."
And so even with this one, they're like, all the other kids have lost their powers. Billy's the only one who still has it. Now they have the apple. They've planted the the tree in the Philly Stadium, destroying the city. And Billy is like, well, you gave me my powers, you could take them back now. And you can handle this. You know how to fight them. You know how to deal with this. And the wizard doesn't tell Billy how to beat the wizards, how to beat the daughters of Atlas. He doesn't tell him how to beat Calypso. He just says that you know what to do.
Tell him it.
You have the wisdom in your heart. And then just leaves him to go off on his own. And it's just like, why? Like, what is it with you that you're so against helping me out? Give me a hint. Tell me something. Give me an instruction manual. Tell me something that will help me. Don't just tell me I know what to do.
You on your rickety knees. You and these old man knees over here just trying to hog all the information.
Exactly. And it's like, why be so vague and so cryptic? And it's like, I felt like it was unnecessary because at that point, of course, Billy had to figure it out. He's like, yeah, well, the staff absorbs the lightning and I can overcharge it like a battery. And so he finds out from Hespera that if he overloads it, then it'll destroy everything inside the dome. And so then he negotiates with her to reduce the size of the dome to where it's only just him and Calypso inside the dome, and so that way they could fight. But it's like the journey that we had to take to get there, and I guess it's supposedly is a better narrative that he was able to figure it out on his own so he could be more confident in his abilities as a superhero, that he deserved the powers, and he finally is, I guess, convinced that he does have the wisdom of Solomon after everybody's told him that he didn't, because honestly he really didn't, because it's really, like you said, it really feel like he was less mature than he was in the first one. He was really an idiot in this movie. He was really dumb. And the thing about it is that
more so than before.
Then the thing about it was
he
that
aged down.
Right. But we saw he was kind of smart because he outsmarted Envy at the end of the first one. He was able to outsmart Envy. Right. He was able to realize that, oh, the staff gave me my power. I can give the power to all of the rest of my family, and then we can take down all of the sins. He had that knowledge to be able to do that. It's like, that's not something that somebody would just think about.
I wouldn't have thought about it at all.
Right.
I would have been like, I don't know what we're going to do.
Exactly.
But the wizard said, for him to do that, you figured that part out. You can figure this out. It's nothing. You got this. I'm going to go explore the world.
Shave my head.
Like, why do we not know our superhero name? Like, why do we not know? You've been saying the name the whole. Why is this a plot, a point of interest?
I don't know. And
who is that for?
I mean,
common knowledge saying if this is the name that I say to grant me the abilities that I have.
I guess they just thought it was like
go ahead and say it.
It was just like a spell, like a magic power, like saying abracadabra. So they thought not necessarily a name, but an incantation in order for them to change. Because if
I would not want my superhero name to be abracadabra.
Right. So if his name is Shazam, what are the rest of their names? Because they all say Shazam to turn into their hero form. So what are the rest of their names?
Shazam and the Supremes. Shazam and them.
Shazam and them. Shazam and the lightning bolts.
Shazam and them. Shazam and the electronic fire. Oh man.
But I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to mention.
I appreciate the Steve joke. The Steve sentient pen that writes down everything you say.
And then having Hesper read out the letter.
That was funny.
It was like, we want to negotiate. Oh, and we also mentioned the safety. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Do we need to proofread this? No, Steve is smart enough to know not to write down it. And then for all of them to just be standing there and
The red
listening to her
Gatorade,
read
what?
it, and like you see the reaction on all of their faces, like, what is this? Like, what the hell is going on? Oh man,
That was funny. I'm
yes,
not gonna lie
yeah,
about that. It was
that
like
was
you
funny.
said, they had some hits.
Yeah,
They had some hits.
but they had a lot of misses too.
They also had some misses. They had some misses. So it's gonna bring me to this point of the podcast where I'm gonna ask you the question, Spider.
Mm.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Starring Mr. Levi himself. Is it super? Is it super?
Is it super? I feel like coming off of the rewatch for Shazam,
Shazam!
we see that Fury of the Gods has stayed the course and improved on some of the things that worked in the first one, but then they also stayed the course and kind of made worse some of the things that didn't work in the first one. And like you said, it just feels like we're 4 years removed from the movie, 2 years, 2 years. Well, 4 years as far as real time, because the original Shazam came out in 2019. This one's coming out in 2023. Right. So we're 4 years removed in real time, 2 years removed in story, but it still feels like we're stuck in the same place. It feels like nothing has really changed. And because of that, because we're still getting the same habits from everybody, right? It's still not even from everybody. Still getting the same habits from our main characters because everybody else is developed. Because Eugene's developed, Pedro's developed, Darla's developed, Mary's developed. But when it comes to Freddy, even though Freddy still has his moments to where now we see that he has this willpower within himself to overcome these opposing forces, Billy as Shazam is still the same. He's still childish. He's still immature. He's still thinking that this is all fun and games. He doesn't understand the severity of...
Hey, he threw a truck at a dragon.
He threw a truck at a dragon. And he thought it was funny. Like, this is life-threatening. Like, this dragon was the only thing to burn you. He's the only person to ever, or the only entity to damage your super suit. And another thing.
Right.
If the fire is magic... He himself is magic.
Okay.
So when he's going up against the dragon and the dragon is blowing fire at him, why is it that only his suit burns, but he doesn't?
Hey, no time for that. We're going to talk about Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
But no. Shazam, Fury of the Gods is not super. It's not super. Like we said, there were some hits. There were like we said in the last episode, there were some times when we were really laughing at it. It was really funny. There were some good jokes, and just as with Fury of the Gods, there were some good jokes.
In this,
there are unicorns. Taste the rainbow, motherfucker! I laughed out loud in the theater.
Taste the rainbow, motherfucker!
That was the last thing I expected to come out of Darla's mouth. But no, it's not super. It's not. There are things that could have been improved upon for this sequel to make this movie better, but they're just the gaps are too expansive. Some of the stuff, it makes no sense. Saying that Victor and Rosa can't afford rent, but then they say that they bought the house. It's like there's nothing in between to make us think that.
Maybe first of all, there was it up for Shazam 3.
I don't know about that. But there was nothing for us. There was nothing to show us that they were struggling, and then there was nothing to show us that they had the money to buy the house. So we're just supposed to go off of this dialogue that this stuff has happened, and we have no context for it, and there's no explanation.
And now we make Mary an unreliable source,
right?
Like, why would you say all that?
And like, did you say that to make Billy feel guilty? Like, you telling him he's gonna age out?
Is there a Billy Mary type of thing? Did you like vibes with that?
No,
like a Billy Mary type of vibe?
No, not at all. I didn't. The only thing I felt was that Mary was sort of exhausted because Mary felt like she could have had another life, gone to college, and she would have been able to progress her career, and she would have been able to potentially like do something else with her life. But now she's quote unquote stuck as a superhero. So after all of that, Mr. VIP Franklin Washington, when it comes to Shazam,
yes, sir.
Fury of the Gods, is it super? The
Gods.
Gods. Is it super?
Gods. No. Oh. No, the fuck it's not odds. It is not super at all. It is a movie.
It is a movie,
and we come full circle. I started the podcast saying
it's a movie.
It's a movie. Should you see this movie? Yeah, if you have nothing to do and you kind of like Shazam, it's a great addition to pick up where you left off after seeing Shazam 1 for progression in the story of Shazam lore. Because it's not to be taken so seriously, don't get us wrong. Listen, I know it may seem like we're shitting on a movie. We're not. It's just not super. It's just a movie. I do appreciate them picking up where they left off, because we left with that last villain, he was in jail, and then we come back, he's still in jail, but we
didn't even talk about the post-credit scene.
Yeah, we're talking. Well, why is he still in? And then you realize that the caterpillar that he's talking to,
he was waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, he said there's more than one way to get magic, and we're gonna do a whole lot of stuff, and then he left. And the only reason we know that he left because he left again. After the man saying, "Give me the details, let's go, give me the information."
He's like, "I will, but I have one more thing to take care of," and then he leaves.
One more thing to do.
Because he was like, I've been here for 2 years, and that's when we find out that it's been 2 years. And it's like, well, what's been going on? And it's like, well, I'm a caterpillar. It takes me a while to get places. I just slither around. I don't have like legs to walk around and get in.
I don't have wings. I don't have legs.
So it takes me a while. And then, but I thought about it.
Give me the information right now.
Exactly. I thought about it. I was like, okay, that's fair. It will take a caterpillar a while to get from place to place, but tell him what he needs to know. He was like, I will reveal all.
You know what he said? You know what he said? You know what he said, Spider?
He said,
we ain't got no time for that.
I got something else I gotta go do.
That's crazy.
That was so stupid. It was funny, but it was stupid. It was absolutely stupid.
Other post-credit scene, we get Shazam having the invitation to go to the Justice Society.
Mm-hmm.
Come full circle again. We already know the Justice Society was in
Black Adam.
Mm-hmm. Which Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has let it be no secret that he is done with Black Adam. He has no interest in coming back. He doesn't get along with the brass over there or the direction that the DCU is going in. So unless you're going to recast Black Adam as a whole, and we're going to totally avert what we saw in Black Adam, or not avert what we saw, again, we're now with the Justice Society. And is this a new iteration of the Justice Society? Is it still Dr. Fate and Hawkman and Atom Smasher and Calypso? Was it Calypso? Cyclone?
Cyclone.
Oh, that body like a cyclone. Shout out T-Pain. So we're all over the place. As an audience member, we have no clear sense of direction of where we're going. We can't get excited about seeing Shazam join the Justice Society because there is no Justice Society.
I mean, there is a Justice Society. We just don't know if it's the same Justice Society that we've seen already.
The one consistent throughout this whole DCEU is
Wonder Woman.
Amanda Waller.
Well, yeah, that's true too. You think about it, Wonder Woman was in Batman v Superman, she was in Justice League, she was in her own movies, and now she didn't need to be in Shazam for sure. But she was in Shazam too. But Amanda Waller has been in the, I think
Peacemaker series.
Gal Gadot was in, I think she made a cameo in Peacemaker too.
I don't think so. I know Jason Momoa did.
Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller made cameos. Yeah. But was that Gal Gadot? I know they had a Superman
I think
stand-in, but it wasn't Henry
there was a
Cavill.
stand-in. I don't think it was
Okay,
her though.
so Henry Cavill
And
didn't
I
make
could be
it.
wrong. I have been wrong on this show many a time.
So I don't know
Maybe
if
you
she
go
was in
back
that.
and watch Peacemaker and
I
see.
mean, Peacemaker
But
wouldn't be a bad rewatch.
I would watch Peacemaker again. And the idea that he's coming to the major
Do you really want? Do you really want to taste
continuity.
that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that around a playground at all.
No.
Oh,
What? You know what? Move on. Move on.
No, the movie was not super. It's something to watch if you had nothing else to watch, I guess. Um, or if you're a fan of Shazam, it's nice to see the progression that takes us absolutely nowhere. We're no better watching this movie than what we were if we didn't watch it. Because there's nothing that happens that progresses us at all. So Billy comes to the realization that he doesn't have to move, and
But
they're a team still. But are they really? Because nothing. They
and
lost their
why?
powers. They get them back, but
Well,
that
we don't
doesn't
see
mean
him
that.
get him back, but I'm guessing they got him back.
Do they really want them back though? Because at the same time, it's just like taking something that was yours. But did you really want it? Because again, in the beginning, you were elected to be a hero in the first place.
Right.
Outside of Freddy, who really wanted to have that type of
Yeah, he would
attention.
be one of the only ones where I would think that he really wants to have the powers. I think he
Right.
really truly loved being Captain Every Power.
Yeah, but if you're married at the same time, this is your out. Now
Right.
you can go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and do everything you wanted to do. For everyone else, it's kind of an afterthought about it, I guess, because you can keep mapping out the chamber of doors without getting hurt. Because
Right.
clearly there's no one's getting hurt. And then reasons, but this is the narrative that you're telling us as an audience. So if you don't have a clear narrative about the story that you're telling, how can you expect us as an audience to be invested in the story that you're telling? Why is Wonder Woman there? I mean, it's great to have cameos, but you have to have cameos with a reason, with a point, with a purpose.
But
For her to fly in and say, all the gods aren't dead, ta-da, and now,
because
what knowledge does she have to even know to do that?
The only reasoning, speaking of reasons, that I can imagine that she ended up showing up there, which still doesn't make sense, was because when they were writing the letter to Hespera, Shazam asked the question, "Oh, does this work for demigods? Could I write a letter to Wonder Woman?" And they kind of said that as like a off, just kind of a off comment.
Oh, so Shazam knew he was gonna die?
No, absolutely not. He had no idea because he went to the wizard saying he didn't know what to do. So there's nothing in whatever letter that he could have written to Wonder Woman would have given her any kind of inclination to be able to come to the land of the gods to resurrect or to restore the power of the staff. Because at that point, they had no knowledge about how to beat, because at that point, they were only writing a letter to negotiate to get Freddy back. And that was it. Because they were just basically threatening the Daughters of Atlas to leave. Because they said, "Oh, we're going to fight you, we're going to win, because we outnumber you. So give us Freddy back, we don't have to fight." So even if he wrote Wonder Woman a letter at that point, there was nothing in that letter to bring her to the land of the gods, because they didn't even know where the land of the gods was.
Fuck you, movie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about it. It don't make no goddamn sense.
But also,
you gotta make it make sense.
You gotta make it make sense. But before we leave, we also have to give a shout out to. We talked about cameos, and cameos have to make sense. But we got to give a shout out to Michael Gray, who was the man on the street in the red shirt with the yellow collar. He called him Captain Marvel, which really no reason to call him Captain Marvel. But yeah, for those who don't know, Captain Marvel was the original name of Shazam when he was first introduced in the comics.
Shazam!
But Michael Gray was the actor that played Billy Batson in the Shazam TV show.
Now, see, it's moments like that that just makes you say,
fuck you, movie.
Because you could have been so much goddamn better.
But the thing about it is,
have emotional beats like that and then give you a shit movie to attach it to.
With all of the names that they came up with for Shazam throughout the movie, because it was a revolving door of names, Thundercrack, Captain Every Power Jr., all this other kind of stuff, Captain Marvel was never mentioned. And there was no reason for him to call him Captain Marvel. I would have to go back because I would have to go back to the first Shazam, because I know when Freddie was posting YouTube videos, every single video was titled with a different superhero name. So I would have to go back and watch all of those to see if one of them called him Captain Marvel.
I can go ahead and save you that time. No. Time saved. No. But now the interesting part about what I just said, now, I would go back and watch Shazam again, the first one. I think it's going to take some time to want to go back and watch this Shazam. Because again, there's nothing, the whole conflict is about fighting a dragon. I mean,
essentially,
you killed
almost
one of the sisters. The sister killed her own sister for reasons,
for sympathizing with the humans, which is what the plan was originally. Was basically, we get the seed, we restore our home, so that way we can reclaim the power that was ours in the first place.
Okay, and at that point in time, she had the seed. She had the staff. She really didn't have to kill her sister at all. So that was just brewing for some other reasons. And then your other sister, you just take her powers. Why? I don't even think her powers were a threat to you.
They really weren't. All I can do is I can move you from here to over there, and that's it.
And clearly when she tried to move herself out of harm's way, it didn't really work.
That little beam of lightning went like 20 city blocks through buildings with a straight shot.
Straight shot. And still got hit on the other side. I'm like, you old enough, you kind of should have knew better than that. You know what I'm saying? You should have known how to use your powers.
Right. But you should know how the staff works.
Right. Like, you should have teleported to another dimension or something. Now, if you would have crossed dimensions, I could see how you would be like, oh, I can't believe that happened. But
that's not a power. She did stand there and kind of watch it. She's like, is that what I think it is?
That looks like that lightning. Yeah, that's not that lightning. Nah, I'm going to just stand here and my powers are gone.
Yeah.
And then walk around aimlessly because I'm a human now.
Right.
Technically, if she was a human now, shouldn't she have disintegrated? She's over 6,000 years old. I don't know what your skincare routine is, but I'm just saying,
it's flawless.
Them bones is old. I'm just saying.
The powers are removed, so now from now on, she would age as a normal human.
Oh, fuck you.
But then she get her powers back anyway.
6,000 years old. Yeah, and then how Wonder Woman did that. Because just because you stuck the staff in the ground and made the grass grow, everybody got their powers back?
Nope.
Is Helen Mirren character back alive again?
No, she did. She
Is
did.
Lucy Liu back alive
she
again?
Didn't even get a power stolen. She just got stabbed by the dragon and then she died. Also, there was a woman talking about ridiculous decisions. So the tree grows into the stadium, puts the roots all throughout the city, and there's these little sacks where all the little monsters come out. First of all, these people in the city of Philadelphia, I know this doesn't necessarily reflect to the decisions on the actual citizens of Philadelphia, but even from the beginning, they're on the bridge. People are running because the bridge is collapsing. There's a woman in her car listening to I Need a Hero, holding out for a hero. And she's just sitting in her car singing. Sees people running.
She's petrified.
Would you not get out of your car?
Oh, me? Oh yeah, I would have been off the bridge.
She
I'd
just
have been at the
sat
house
there.
watching it on the news. They're
She
like,
just sat
that's a
there.
travesty was happening.
So she just sat there. Of course, Shazam saves her. He was like, "No way!" He's like, "I really save you while you're listening to the song," and then she just screams because she's afraid. But so the people in the streets, they see these sacks on all of these routes, and of course they want to go. They got their phones out. Oh, I want to touch it. I want to take pictures of it. Oh, what's going on? This chimera is the body of a lion, the head of a something, the tail of a scorpion. Chimera comes out of the pouch, just stabs the woman and just tosses her back. She dead. That woman is dead.
100%. She has no magical abilities, but it was foreshadowing because that's what happened to Helen.
True.
Is it?
I mean, in a sense, but they did do some foreshadowing with the electricity ball that Billy had in his room that like overpowered and exploded, because that's exactly what happened to the staff, and they had that imagery when he was inside the dome. It made it look like the electricity ball, and then it exploded.
Listen, as your secret weapon, your go-to power is to hit somebody with the lightning blast for saying your name. Is this forever our thing? Like, is that his ultimate move?
Seems like it. That's how he took. That's how he took out Savannah, and that's how he took out the dragon.
That's twice now. We got to get close enough and hug you. Which again, this is. I'm not gonna say that it's not how it's done in the comics, because I've seen it done in many iterations.
Mm-hmm.
He'll grab him, hug him, hold him tight, say Shazam, and then that lightning usually takes him out, and then he recovers because he can't be hurt anyway by saying his own name. Mm-hmm. So
how did he die?
Just think we could... Huh?
So how did he die?
Hey, ain't no time for that. So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe. Feeling this kind.
So clearly, my internet does not agree with us today, and it will not allow us to be great while we're recording this video. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But let us know what you thought about Shazam: Fury of the Gods. What did you think about the story? What did you think about what we said about it? And if you agree with us or if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments. But remember, if you like the video, go ahead, click like on it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, which I'm sure is going to be all over the place, just search for All Things Super on any of your major podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to join in on the conversation, just tweet at us at ATSuperPod. And as Mr. VIP Frankie Washington would say, leave a comment, because we like reading comments. But hopefully this whole internet fiasco will be taken care of for the next time we record. We will be back next week with John Wick Chapter 4, and maybe anything else that happens to spring up in between then. But until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Keep on being super.